The landscape of the modern monarchy has always been shaped not just by official decrees or grand state occasions, but by the quiet, deeply personal moments that transpire behind the closed doors of royal residences. For generations, the public has watched from a carefully calculated distance as dynasties shifted, traditions evolved, and new chapters were written in the annals of history. Yet, in our contemporary era, the intersection of ancient institutional expectation and intense global public scrutiny has created a fascinating phenomenon where a single family announcement can send shockwaves across continents. It is a world where every word is analyzed, every gesture is interpreted, and every significant milestone becomes a matter of intense international conversation. To fully understand the profound weight of recent developments, one must first look back at the intricate tapestry of events that have brought us to this current cultural moment, a moment that blends the deep reverence for a historic legacy with the unpredictable nature of a new, independent path. As we delve deeper into this unfolding narrative and explore the complex layers of an institution, constantly balancing past traditions with modern realities, we invite you to become a permanent part of our community. If you find yourself captivated by the deep hidden histories, the personal sacrifices, and the ongoing evolutions of those who live their lives in the global spotlight, please consider taking a moment to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you ensure that you will never miss an episode of our deep dive investigations, comprehensive analyses, and exclusive breakdowns of the events that shape our world. Your continued support allows us to remain dedicated to bringing you the highest quality coverage, meticulously researched and delivered with the depth and seriousness that these historic narratives truly deserve. Now, let us return to the heart of our story, where the echoes of past generations continue to influence the choices of the present. The global fascination with the House of Windsor has never been solely about political influence or ceremonial grandeur. Rather, it is anchored in the deeply human stories of its members, their personal struggles, and the profound choices they make in defining their own lives. When individuals who were born into the very center of this traditional framework make the conscious decision to redefine their roles, the consequences resonate far beyond the palace gates. It ignites a global conversation about identity, legacy, and the heavy price of public duty. The world has watched with bated breath as a new narrative began to take shape, one that promised a departure from established protocols while remaining intrinsically linked to the monumental history of a royal lineage. It is within this atmospheric tension, where the weight of a historic crown meets the desire for personal sovereignty, that the latest chapter of this ongoing saga begins to unfold, setting the stage for an announcement that would capture the imagination of millions around the globe. Every major event within this sphere carries with it a deep sense of historical continuity, a reminder that the actions of today are forever bound to the memories of yesterday. The world remembers the grand weddings, the solemn processions, and the historic births that have defined the public perception of this family for decades. Each new milestone is viewed through the lens of what came before, creating a complex narrative where the past is never truly gone, but rather serves as a constant backdrop to the unfolding present. As the global audience tuned in from every corner of the earth, there was a palpable sense of anticipation, an unspoken understanding that whatever occurred next would be weighed against the immense legacy of an ancient institution. This sense of expectation creates a unique atmosphere where even the most joyful and intimate family occasions are transformed into global media phenomena, analyzed by experts and celebrated by millions who feel a deeply personal connection to the unfolding drama. This connection is built upon a foundation of shared history, where the public has witnessed the growth, the challenges, and the ultimate transformation of key figures from their early youth into adulthood. The journey of those who have stepped away from traditional roles to seek a different existence under the bright lights of a new environment remains one of the most compelling narratives of our time. It represents a fundamental clash between the rigid, unyielding expectations of a historic court and the fluid, rapidly changing dynamics of modern global culture. As this specific journey progressed, every public statement, every charitable endeavor, and every subtle shift in public alignment was met with intense interest, preparing the world for a moment of profound personal significance that would bridge the gap between their historic roots and their newly chosen destiny. The anticipations surrounding the family's next steps had been building for months, fueled by a global media apparatus that hangs on every official update and every rare glimpse into their private lives. In an era dominated by instantaneous communication and relentless public interest, the ability to maintain a sense of privacy while preparing to share a monumental update with the world is a delicate balancing act. The atmosphere was charged with a mixture of curiosity and deep respect, as observers noted the quiet confidence with which the couple approached this new phase of their shared journey. It was clear that whatever message was to be delivered, it would be done on their own terms, reflecting a newfound independence that has become the defining characteristic of their public identity, signaling a clear departure from the rigid communication strategies of the past. When the moment finally arrived for the world to receive the news, it was presented not through the traditional, highly formalized channels of state communications, but through a direct, deeply personal medium that reflected their new way of engaging with the global public. This choice of platform was itself a significant statement, emphasizing a desire for an authentic, unfiltered connection with the millions of well-wishers who had followed their path with unwavering loyalty. The announcement carried a profound emotional weight, instantly connecting the global audience to a private sanctuary of joy and gratitude that stood in stark contrast to the often tumultuous public storms that had surrounded their journey in recent years. It was a moment of pure celebration, a bright beacon of new beginnings that captured the essence of hope and renewal, reminding the world that despite the grand complexities of their public standing, the core of their story remains fundamentally about family, legacy, and the enduring power of love across generations. The direct and heartfelt revelation that emerged from the private sanctuary of the California coast immediately captured the undivided attention of the international media, transforming a quiet summer day into a moment of global significance. On the 4th of June, a profound transformation occurred within the immediate family circle of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as they welcomed their second child, a healthy baby girl, into the world. The birth took place under a veil of carefully guarded privacy at the Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital in California, an institution known for its high standard of care and deep commitment to patient confidentiality. This serene setting was a world away from the historic, heavily scrutinized wings of London hospitals, where previous generations of royal infants had traditionally made their public debuts before a wall of flashing cameras and cheering crowds. The arrival of this new life represented a definitive anchoring of the couple's new existence in the United States, marking the first time a senior descendant of the British royal lineage had been born on American soil. A fact that added a fascinating layer of historical novelty to an already monumental occasion. As the news reverberated across the globe, the couple chose to share their profound joy and immense gratitude through their official Archewell Foundation website, bypassing traditional palace communications to deliver a message that was deeply personal, intimate, and unfiltered. In their moving statement, they expressed that their new daughter was more than they could have ever imagined, describing themselves as deeply blessed and remaining eternally grateful for the overwhelming torrent of love, kindness, and prayers that had been directed toward their family from every corner of the earth. The tone of the message was one of serene fulfillment, a testament to the peace they had sought and found in their new environment. Yet it also carried a clear acknowledgement of the global community that continued to support them throughout their highly publicized transition. The announcement did not merely convey the biological fact of a birth, it served as a poetic testament to survival, growth, and the beautiful blossoming of a family that had weathered immense public storms to establish a secure foundation for their children. The naming of the newborn child was immediately recognized as a masterclass in emotional diplomacy and historical tribute, weaving together the disparate threads of a complex family history into a singular, deeply meaningful identity. The couple announced that their daughter would be named Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor, a choice that carried immense symbolic weight and instantly sparked a wave of poignant reflection among historians and casual observers alike. The first name, Lilibet, is a deeply intimate and affectionate family moniker that traces its origins back to the childhood of Queen Elizabeth II, a name coined when the young princess could not yet properly pronounce her own name, and subsequently adopted by her father, King George VI, and her late husband, Prince Philip. By bestowing this highly private pet name upon their daughter, Harry and Meghan signaled a profound, unbroken bond of love and respect for the historic monarch, offering a tender olive branch and a declaration of enduring familial affection that transcended institutional friction and geographic distance. The middle name, Diana, was an equally powerful and emotionally charged selection, serving as a direct and undeniable tribute to Prince Harry's beloved late mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, whose tragic and untimely passing decades earlier continued to cast a long, definitive shadow over the modern monarchy. For Prince Harry, the inclusion of his mother's name was not merely a traditional custom, but a deeply personal act of remembrance, a way to ensure that the spirit, legacy, and compassionate essence of the mother he lost at such a formative age would live on through the next generation. The global public, which had watched Prince Harry navigate the immense grief of his childhood under the relentless glare of the media, felt a collective surge of emotion at this poetic tribute, recognizing the profound full-circle moment of a son honoring his mother's memory through the life of his newborn daughter. Combined with the traditional surname of Mountbatten-Windsor, the child's full name became a beautiful living bridge between the majestic traditions of the British Crown and the independent, modern future that her parents were actively carving out in the new world. The reaction to the name was immediate and multifaceted, with commentators noting how the configuration of the names brilliantly honored the two most influential and iconic women in Prince Harry's life, each representing a different facet of the royal story. Queen Elizabeth embodied the unyielding dedication to duty, the historic continuity, and the grand institution of the monarchy itself, while Princess Diana represented the modern, empathetic, and groundbreaking spirit that sought to humanize the crown and connect directly with the hearts of ordinary people. By uniting these two names within a single individual, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex created a legacy that honors the past, while pointing definitively toward a more inclusive and compassionate future. The naming process within any family is an act of defining identity, but within this specific context, it became a historic statement. An elegant synthesis of personal affection and public tribute that will forever define the life and perception of the young lady who carries these names, as the details of the birth began to circulate. The tension that had characterized the couple's relationship with the wider institutional framework of their former lives seemed to melt away, replaced by a universal celebration of new life. Messages of congratulations began to pour in from official residences across the United Kingdom, demonstrating that despite the geographic separation and the dramatic shifts in institutional roles, the fundamental bonds of family remained intact during times of profound personal milestone. The public reaction was equally overwhelming, with crowds gathering conceptually online and physically in various locations to express their joy, demonstrating the enduring global fascination with the couple and their growing family. This moment of unity provided a brief, welcome respite from the ongoing debates surrounding the evolving structure of the modern court, proving that the arrival of a child possesses a unique, universal power to transcend differences and bring people together in a shared celebration of hope and new beginnings, the contrast between the birth of their first child, Archie, in London, and the arrival of Lily in California highlighted the dramatic transformation that the couple's lives had undergone in a relatively short span of time. Archie's birth had been marked by the traditional, fast-paced rhythm of royal protocols, complete with official easel announcements outside the palace gates and a highly orchestrated public introduction to the world media within days of his arrival. In stark contrast, the arrival of their daughter was managed with a serene independence that mirrored their new lifestyle, allowing the family to spend several days bonding in complete privacy before choosing the exact moment and manner in which to share their happiness with the global public. This deliberate choice underscored their commitment to protecting their children's privacy while still maintaining a generous, authentic connection with the millions of supporters who have followed their journey with genuine care and affection. The atmosphere surrounding the family's California home was described by close associates as one of profound peace and domestic bliss. As the young family adjusted to their new dynamic as a household of four, alongside their beloved pets, and within a supportive local community. The transition into this new chapter was marked by a deep sense of contentment, as the couple embraced the quiet rhythms of life away from the constant, daily demands of official institutional duties, focusing their energies instead on their philanthropic endeavors through the Archewell Foundation and their personal growth as parents. This period of quiet reflection and intense familial bonding served as the perfect culmination of a long, often difficult journey towards self-determination, positioning the arrival of Lilibet Diana not just as a joyous family event, but as the triumphant dawn of a new era of freedom, purpose, and enduring legacy for the House of Sussex. The deeper significance of this historic birth extends far beyond the immediate joy of a growing family, anchoring itself into the shifting sands of an ancient lineage adapting to a rapidly changing global landscape. To fully appreciate why the arrival of Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor resonates so profoundly, one must look at the remarkable lives of the individuals involved and the rich context of the namesakes who came before her. Prince Harry, born in September 1984 as the second son of the Prince and Princess of Wales, spent his entire youth in the unyielding spotlight, navigating the rigid expectations of his birthright while coping with the early, devastating loss of his mother. His career in the military, which included 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan, forged a character deeply dedicated to public service, mental health advocacy, and the global veteran community through his creation of the Invictus Games. This path of service ultimately led him to a fateful meeting in 2016 with Meghan Markle, an accomplished American actress, humanitarian, and graduate of Northwestern University, who had already established a successful career in television and an impactful voice as a United Nations advocate for gender equality. Meghan's entry into the royal family brought a vibrant, modern perspective that captured the imagination of millions globally, representing a powerful symbol of inclusivity and modern evolution for an institution steeped in centuries of tradition. Born and raised in Los Angeles, California, her journey from a passionate young activist writing letters against sexist advertising to a global humanitarian figure highlighted her deep-seated commitment to social justice and community empowerment. The couple's grand wedding at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle in May 2018 was celebrated as a historic dawn of a more diverse and progressive era for the monarchy, attracting a global viewing audience estimated in the hundreds of millions. When they made the historic decision to step back from their roles as senior working royals in early 2020, they chose a path of financial independence and self-determination, eventually settling in the coastal enclave of Montecito, California, where they established the Archewell Foundation to channel their shared passion for philanthropy, mental wellness, and community support. The birth of their daughter in California marks a monumental milestone in this independent chapter, creating a fascinating dynamic where a young girl holds a unique position as a natural-born United States citizen, while simultaneously remaining eighth in the line of succession to the British throne. This duality embodies the modern global reality of her parents' lives, blending the deep history of the United Kingdom with the forward-looking energy of the United States. The names bestowed upon her serve as a permanent, living testament to the two towering figures who defined the modern royal narrative: Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and Diana, Princess of Wales. Queen Elizabeth, whose historic reign spanned over 70 years, was the ultimate symbol of constancy, duty, and unwavering grace under pressure, guiding her nation through eras of profound social and technological transformation while maintaining the dignity of the crown. The intimate use of her childhood moniker, Lilibet, honors the deeply human side of a monarch who was a beloved grandmother and great-grandmother behind her public majesty. The tribute to Princess Diana brings an emotional depth that touches the hearts of millions who still cherish the memory of the people's princess, a woman whose empathy, warmth, and boundary-breaking charity work fundamentally changed how the public viewed the monarchy. Diana's legacy of visiting leprosy clinics, walking through active landmine fields in Angola, and embracing HIV patients at a time of intense stigma redefined royal duty as an act of direct, hands-on compassion. By carrying her name, young Lilibet Diana becomes a custodian of that legacy, a living reminder of a grandmother who fought passionately for the vulnerable and sought to live a life driven by authentic human connection. This profound connection ensures that the values of empathy and courage that Diana championed will continue to inspire future generations, creating an unbroken thread of maternal legacy that stretches from the historic palaces of London to the sunny shores of the Pacific coast. The broader historical context surrounding this birth also highlights the enduring strength of the family's lineage, which has consistently found ways to reinvent itself and remain relevant in times of transition. Throughout history, the arrival of new generations within this family has often served as a catalyst for reflection, a moment to honor the enduring foundations of the past while embracing the clean slate and infinite possibilities offered by a newborn child. Experts and historians view the arrival of Lilibet Diana as a beautifully poetic resolution to a complex period of institutional change, showing that regardless of geographic distance, differing career paths, or public debates, the core of this historic dynasty remains a family bound by shared bloodlines, deep emotional histories, and mutual affection. It underscores the reality that family connections are resilient enough to survive the pressures of global scrutiny, finding expression in the quiet, universal celebrations of new life and the honoring of ancestral roots as the global community reflects on this joyous announcement. There is an overarching sense that Lilibet Diana's life will be uniquely privileged yet profoundly purposeful, shaped by the rich heritage of her ancestors and the progressive, independent spirit of her parents. Growing up in an environment that prioritizes privacy, creative freedom, and global humanitarian engagement, she will have the rare opportunity to forge her own identity while remaining intrinsically linked to some of the most significant historical narratives of our time. Her story represents a beautiful synthesis of Old World majesty and New World freedom, a living proof that the traditions of the past can successfully coexist with the aspirations of a modern, independent future. The global interest in her journey will undoubtedly endure, but for now, the focus remains on a peaceful home in California, where a grateful mother, a proud father, and a joyful older brother are celebrating the arrival of a beautiful little girl who has already brought a profound sense of healing, hope, and universal joy to a waiting world.